You wake up every morning and the first thing that crosses your mind is money. How to get more of it. How to keep what you have. How to stop worrying about it. You've been playing this exhausting game of chase for so long that you've forgotten something fundamental about who you really are. You see yourself as separate from wealth, standing on the outside looking in, waiting for money to come to you, to choose you, to finally notice you're worthy. But what if I told you that this entire struggle is built on the most devastating lie you've ever believed? What if the very thing you've been desperately seeking has been you all along? Right now, in this moment, you are not lacking money. You are money. Every breath you take, every thought you think, every beat of your heart is a transaction of infinite value flowing through the universe. The $17 trillion moving through global financial systems every second is not separate from you. It is an extension of your consciousness, a reflection of the life force that pulses within your very being. For too long, you've been told that spirituality and wealth cannot coexist, that seeking abundance somehow makes you less pure, less worthy. This is the greatest deception ever perpetrated upon conscious souls like yourself. While you've been limiting yourself with beliefs like money is hard and I need more, you've been fragmenting your own power, blocking the very energy that you are. Today that ends. This is not another video about manifestation techniques or positive thinking. This is about remembering the truth of what you are. This is about stepping into the sovereign state of command that has always been yours. This is about recognizing that you don't attract money because you are the creative source of infinite wealth itself. The people who understand this truth, they don't struggle, they don't beg, they don't chase. They simply remember who they are and allow their natural state of abundance to flow. If you're ready to stop seeking and start being, if you're ready to dissolve the illusion of separation that has kept you small, then this message has found you at exactly the right moment. Subscribe now, because what you're about to discover will fundamentally change not just your relationship with money, but your understanding of who you truly are. Number 1, the energetic and spiritual nature of money. You have been living a lie so profound that it has shaped every financial struggle you have ever experienced. Each morning you wake up believing that money is something outside of you, something physical, something that exists in banks and wallets and digital accounts separate from your very being. This belief has become the invisible prison that keeps you trapped in cycles of lack, worry, and endless seeking. But let me reveal to you a truth that will shatter this illusion forever. Money is not paper. Money is not metal. Money is not even the numbers dancing across your screen. Money is pure consciousness in motion. A spiritual technology more sophisticated than anything your modern world has yet created. It flows through the global financial system like electricity through your nervous system, pulsing with the same life force that beats your heart and fires your neurons. Consider this profound reality. Every second, $17 trillion moves through the world's financial networks. 17 trillion. This is not mere mathematics. This is the breath of a living system, the circulation of conscious energy that responds to the same laws that govern your thoughts, your emotions, your very existence. When you begin to understand that this vast ocean of energy operates on frequencies identical to those within your own being, everything changes. The ancient wisdom I possessed during my reign understood what your modern world has forgotten. Wealth was never separate from wisdom. Abundance was never divorced from consciousness. The gold that flowed into my kingdom came not because I chased it, but because I recognized my unity with the very source from which all prosperity springs. I commanded wealth not through force, but through alignment with the invisible currents that govern all manifestation. You see, when you declare, "I need money," you are programming your nervous system for separation. These 3 words create a contraction in your energy field that ripples through every cell of your body. Your brain interprets this statement as evidence that money exists somewhere else, possessed by someone else, controlled by forces beyond your reach. This single belief restructures your entire relationship with abundance, creating the very scarcity you fear most. But what happens when you recognize that the electricity powering your thoughts is the same energy that moves through financial markets? What shifts when you understand that the invisible force animating your body is identical to the consciousness that creates and destroys fortunes every moment? The separation dissolves. The seeking ends. You stop being a beggar at the gates of abundance and remember your rightful place as its source. There was once a merchant who came to me, weeping about his failing business. He showed me empty hands and spoke of creditors at his door. I asked him a simple question. "Do you believe money comes from outside you?" He nodded eagerly. "Then you will always be at its mercy," I replied. "But if you recognize that money is the manifestation of the same creative force that formed you, how would you walk through your marketplace?" The shift happened in that instant. His posture changed. His breathing deepened. He left my presence not as someone seeking money, but as someone remembering his identity as the creative source of wealth itself. Within a moon cycle, his business flourished beyond his previous dreams. Not because he had learned new techniques, but because he had dissolved the lie of separation. Your body is a temple of energetic transactions. Every heartbeat generates electromagnetic pulses. Every thought creates measurable waves. Every emotion shifts your molecular structure. You are already operating as a living generator of the same energy that money represents. The question is not how to attract this energy from outside, but how to recognize its constant flow within you. Stop seeking money as if it were foreign to your nature. Begin commanding it as the natural extension of your consciousness that it has always been. When you align with this truth, money stops being something you chase and becomes something you naturally express, like breath from your lungs or light from your eyes. You are not separate from the abundance you seek. You are its living embodiment, temporarily forgetting your true nature. Remember now, and watch as reality reorganizes itself around this fundamental truth. Number 2, money as collective creation and spirituality. The greatest deception ever perpetrated upon humanity is not political or religious. It is the belief that spirit and matter exist in opposition to each other. You have been conditioned to think that seeking wealth diminishes your spiritual nature, that abundance and consciousness cannot coexist. This lie has kept millions of awakened souls trapped in voluntary poverty, believing that struggle somehow purifies their spirit. Let me destroy this illusion with a truth that will liberate you forever. Money is humanity's first successful experiment in collective consciousness creation. 7 billion people have agreed that certain symbols represent value. This agreement is not enforced by armies or laws, but by shared belief, collective faith, and unified consciousness. Money exists because we all dream it into existence together. Think about this miracle. A piece of paper or a digital entry becomes capable of transforming lives, building cities, feeding nations, simply because humanity has collectively agreed it possesses this power. This is not economics. This is magic of the highest order. This is proof of our godlike ability to manifest reality through unified intention. Yet somehow, the same people who participate daily in this collective creation convince themselves that spirituality and material abundance are incompatible. They separate the sacred from the practical, the divine from the financial, and in doing so, they fragment their own power. They become spiritual beggars instead of conscious creators. During my reign, the temple was not separate from the treasury. Wisdom was not divorced from wealth. The gold that adorned our sacred spaces was not seen as worldly corruption, but as the physical manifestation of divine abundance. Every coin that entered my kingdom was blessed. Every transaction was viewed as an exchange of creative energy. We understood what your world has forgotten. Money is as neutral as electricity, and its expression depends entirely upon the consciousness that guides it. You live in an era where healers apologize for charging for their gifts, where teachers of consciousness struggle to pay rent, where lightworkers believe that poverty somehow validates their spiritual authenticity. This is not humility. This is self-sabotage disguised as righteousness. You are withholding your gifts from a world that desperately needs them, because you have been programmed to believe that spirit and abundance cannot coexist. But observe nature, which you claim is spiritual. Does the sun apologize for its brilliance? Does the ocean limit its vastness? Does the earth restrict its fertility? Abundance is the natural state of consciousness when it recognizes its own unlimited nature. Scarcity is the artificial condition created by beliefs in separation and limitation. I remember a priest who visited my court, condemning the wealth that surrounded him. "How can you claim to serve the divine while living in such luxury?" he demanded. I led him to my gardens, where every plant grew in magnificent abundance. "Which of these flowers would you have me remove to prove my spirituality?" I asked. "Which bird should stop singing to demonstrate its humility?" He understood then that his condemnation of abundance was actually a condemnation of the creative force itself. Money flows through the world like blood through a body, carrying resources where they are needed, enabling creation and growth and transformation. When conscious individuals refuse to participate in this flow because they believe it compromises their spirituality, they create artificial dams in the river of abundance. They prevent resources from reaching the very people and projects that could use them to heal the world. Your spiritual gifts are not meant to be hidden away in poverty. Your consciousness is not purified by struggle. Your wisdom does not become more valuable when wrapped in limitation. The world needs awakened individuals who understand both spirit and abundance, who can bridge these artificial worlds and demonstrate their unity. The moment you recognize money as collective creation, as humanity's shared experiment in consciousness, everything shifts. You stop seeing it as dirty or separate or unspiritual. You begin to understand it as one of the most profound expressions of human unity ever achieved. You realize that your relationship with money is actually your relationship with the collective creative power of our species. Command this collective creation not as a beggar, but as a co-creator. Engage with financial abundance not as compromise, but as conscious participation in humanity's greatest collaborative masterpiece. When you align your individual consciousness with this collective creation, you become a bridge between worlds, a living demonstration that spirit and matter were never separate at all. Number 3. The impact of beliefs on personal reality. Right now, as you hear these words, your nervous system is running programs about money that were installed without your conscious consent. These programs operate in the background of your awareness like invisible software, shaping every financial decision you make, every opportunity you recognize or miss, every relationship you have with abundance itself. Most people are completely unaware that their financial reality is being created by subconscious beliefs they inherited from parents, absorbed from society, or developed through painful experiences. They believe their circumstances are determined by external forces, by the economy, by their education, by their circumstances. But the truth is far more empowering and far more terrifying. Your financial reality is the perfect mirror of your internal programming about money. When you repeatedly think thoughts like "money is hard to come by," or "I'm not good with money," or "rich people are greedy," you are not simply having innocent opinions. You are issuing commands to your subconscious mind, which then orchestrates your behavior, your energy, your opportunities to match these beliefs perfectly. Your internal system is designed to prove your beliefs right, even when those beliefs limit and harm you. Consider the devastating phrase, "I need money." These 3 words seem innocent, even practical, but examine their deeper programming. "I need" implies lack, dependence, and separation from what you desire. Money becomes positioned as something external, something controlled by forces outside yourself. Together, These words train your nervous system to perceive money as scarce, distant, and difficult to obtain. Every time you repeat this phrase, whether spoken or thought, you send electromagnetic signals through your body that literally reorganize your cellular structure around scarcity. Your brain creates neural pathways that support limitation. Your energy field contracts, your posture changes, your breathing becomes shallow, you become a living magnet for the very lack you fear most. But here is where true power lies. Just as negative beliefs create negative realities, transformed beliefs create transformed realities. When you shift your internal programming, your external circumstances must shift to match. This is not positive thinking or wishful hoping. This is understanding how consciousness actually creates reality. There was a woman in my kingdom who came to me in desperation. Her husband had died, leaving her with debts and children to feed. She had convinced herself that, as a woman alone, she was powerless in financial matters. Every day she repeated to herself, "I don't know how to make money, and I'm not capable of handling business." Her beliefs became her reality, and her situation grew worse with each passing month. I gave her a simple task. For 30 days, she was to replace her limiting statements with a new truth. Instead of "I don't know how," she would say, "I am learning." Instead of "I'm not capable," she would declare, "I am becoming capable." Instead of "I need money," she would affirm, "I am abundance itself." The transformation was remarkable not because the words were magical, but because they reprogrammed her nervous system. Her posture changed. Her energy shifted. Her perception of opportunities expanded. Within those 30 days, she had created 3 sources of income that had been invisible to her before. The opportunities were always there, but her beliefs had blinded her to them. Your beliefs about money are creating your financial reality right now. If you believe money is scarce, you will experience scarcity. If you believe money is evil, you will repel it. If you believe you are not worthy of wealth, you will sabotage every opportunity for abundance that comes your way. But what happens when you recognize that money is not separate from your consciousness? What shifts when you understand that abundance is your natural state, temporarily obscured by limiting beliefs? Everything changes. Your nervous system relaxes, your energy expands, your perception clears. Opportunities that were always present suddenly become visible. The practical application of this truth is both simple and profound. Begin monitoring your thoughts and words about money with the awareness that each one is programming your reality. When you catch yourself in limitation, consciously choose a thought that aligns with truth, not as pretense, but as recognition of your actual nature. Replace "I need money" with "I am abundance." Replace "money is hard" with "money flows naturally." Replace "I can't afford it" with "I choose my priorities consciously." These are not affirmations. These are corrections to faulty programming. These are returns to truth. Your beliefs are not permanent fixtures in your consciousness. They are software that can be upgraded, programs that can be rewritten, limitations that can be dissolved through conscious choice and persistent practice. The moment you take responsibility for your internal programming, you reclaim your power to create your financial reality deliberately and consciously. Number 4, transformative testimonies and examples. Throughout history, certain individuals have stumbled upon or consciously discovered the secret that money is not external to them, but an expression of their own consciousness. Their stories are not merely inspirational tales, but practical demonstrations of how reality restructures itself when someone dissolves the illusion of separation between themselves and abundance. Let me share with you the story of Jim Reed, a man who understood intuitively what I am teaching you now. Jim was not born into wealth. He had no special education in finance, no insider connections, no advantages that society recognizes as prerequisites for massive success. What he possessed was something far more valuable, the knowing that wealth was his natural inheritance, not something to be acquired from outside. Jim began with small investments, but his approach was radically different from conventional wisdom. He did not research market trends or analyze economic data. Instead, he operated from a deep inner certainty that money would flow to him, because he recognized himself as identical to its essential nature. He would close his eyes before making investment decisions and feel into which opportunities resonated with his being. He trusted that the same intelligence that beats his heart would guide him to abundance. The results defied all rational explanation. His investments multiplied exponentially. Opportunities appeared as if magnetized to him. Within a few years, he had accumulated millions, not through force or manipulation, but through alignment with the natural flow of abundance. When asked about his secret, he would say simply, "I stopped trying to get money and started being money." Sarah Blakely provides another profound example of this principle in action. She often described her business creation process as writing checks from the bank of consciousness. Before Spanx existed as a company, before she had manufactured a single product, Sarah would visualize walking into banks of the universe and withdrawing exactly what she needed for her vision. She understood that money was not something she had to earn through struggle, but something she could access through alignment with her creative vision. Her story reveals how reality responds to someone who dissolves separation between themselves and their desired outcome. The investors appeared at the perfect moment. The manufacturing solutions materialized. The marketing opportunities opened naturally. She did not chase these resources. They flowed to her because she recognized herself as the source from which they originated. Perhaps most remarkably is the story of Nishida, a man who transformed his relationship with money in a single moment of recognition. He had been struggling with poverty for years, believing that his circumstances were determined by factors beyond his control. One day, sitting in meditation, he experienced what he called the Great Remembering. He suddenly understood that he was not separate from the abundance he sought, that poverty was an illusion maintained by his belief in limitation. From that moment, his external circumstances began to shift dramatically. Unexpected resources appeared. Business opportunities materialized from nowhere. People offered him partnerships and investments without him seeking them. The transformation happened so rapidly that it seemed miraculous to observers, but Nishida understood that he had not attracted wealth from outside. He had simply remembered his identity as abundance itself, and reality had reorganized to match this recognition. These individuals share one crucial understanding. They stopped relating to money as something external to obtain and began expressing it as something internal to recognize. They did not develop better strategies for making money. They dissolved the beliefs that made money seem separate from their own nature. Their success was not the result of positive thinking or manifestation techniques. It was the natural consequence of aligning with truth. When someone recognizes that money is consciousness, and that consciousness is what they are, abundance becomes as natural as breathing. The seeking ends. The struggle dissolves. Resources flow because there is no longer any internal resistance to their natural movement. What these examples reveal is that wealth is not created through external manipulation, but through internal recognition. Money does not flow to people because they are clever or lucky or deserving. Money flows to people who understand that they are not separate from the source of abundance itself. Each of these individuals had what I call a collapse moment, when the illusion of separation dissolved and they recognized their true relationship to wealth. In that instant of recognition, their nervous systems reorganized. Their energy fields shifted. Their perception expanded to encompass possibilities that had been invisible before. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical demonstration of how consciousness actually creates reality when it recognizes its own unlimited nature. The question is not whether this principle works. These examples prove its effectiveness beyond doubt. The question is whether you are ready to release your attachment to limitation and step into the recognition of your true abundance. Number 5. Visualization, conscious command, and sovereignty. Your body is not just flesh and bone. It is the most sophisticated value-generating system ever created, a living mint that produces worth with every breath, every heartbeat, every thought. Yet you have been conditioned to see it as separate from the abundance you seek, as a vessel that must work hard to earn money rather than the source from which money naturally emanates. Right now, as you sit here, your heart is generating electromagnetic pulses that extend 3 feet beyond your physical form. Your brain is producing measurable electrical activity that interfaces with quantum fields. Your nervous system is conducting energy that operates on the same frequencies that move through financial markets globally. You are not observing wealth creation. You are wealth creation in its purest form. Every gesture you make carries vibrational currency. Every word you speak generates energetic transactions. Every emotion you feel creates waves that influence the subtle environment around you, attracting or repelling resources based on their frequency. You have been operating as a financial generator your entire life, without recognizing the magnitude of your creative power. But here is where most people lose their way. They understand intellectually that they are energetic beings, but they continue to operate from positions of request rather than command. They ask the universe for money. They hope for abundance. They try to manifest wealth. This approach immediately positions them as separate from what they seek, as beggars rather than sovereign creators. Let me teach you the difference between asking and commanding. When you ask for money, you imply that it exists somewhere else, controlled by forces beyond you, dependent on external permission or approval. When you command money, you recognize it as the natural expression of your own creative force, as immediately available as your next breath or heartbeat. Commanding is not demanding or forcing. Commanding is conscious direction of your natural creative power. Just as you do not ask your heart to beat or request your lungs to breathe, you do not need to petition for abundance. You simply direct your energy consciously and allow its natural expression. Visualize now your body as the center of a vast network of abundance. See golden threads extending from your heart to every form of wealth on the planet. Recognize that these connections are not imaginary, but represent the actual energetic infrastructure through which resources flow. You are not trying to create these connections. You are recognizing connections that have always existed. When you need resources for any purpose, do not ask where they will come from. Instead, feel into this network of abundance and consciously direct energy toward your desired outcome. See money flowing through these golden pathways toward you, not because you have earned it or deserve it, but because you have remembered your identity as its source. There was a time during my reign when our kingdom faced what appeared to be financial crisis. Trade routes had been disrupted, and my advisors calculated that our treasury would be depleted within months. They came to me with complex plans involving increased taxation and reduced spending, but I understood something they did not. I retreated to my chambers and spent 3 days in deep communion with the source of all abundance. I did not pray for money to come from outside. Instead, I aligned my consciousness with the infinite creative power that I knew myself to be. I visualized golden light emanating from my being, attracting resources from every direction not through force, but through magnetic alignment. Within a week, opportunities appeared that none of us had foreseen. New trade agreements materialized. Hidden treasures were discovered. Unexpected allies offered resources freely. The crisis dissolved not because external circumstances changed randomly, but because I had operated from sovereignty rather than scarcity. Your nervous system responds to clear, decisive commands from your conscious mind. When you visualize abundance flowing to you while maintaining the inner knowing that you are its source, Every cell in your body reorganizes to support this reality. Your posture changes, your energy expands, your perception sharpens to notice opportunities that were invisible before. Practice this simple but profound exercise. Each morning, before engaging with external demands, spend moments recognizing yourself as the gravitational center of a financial solar system. See money orbiting around you like planets around the sun, held in perfect alignment by the magnetic power of your consciousness. Feel resources drawn to you not by desperation, but by the natural law of energetic attraction. Do not visualize money coming from outside. Visualize it emanating from within, expressing through you like light through a prism. See yourself as the source rather than the destination. Command rather than request. Direct rather than hope. When you need specific amounts for specific purposes, state your command clearly and definitively. Then release attachment to how it will manifest. Trust that your conscious direction has been received by the intelligence that organizes all abundance, and remain open to receive in forms you may not have anticipated. This is not manifestation. This is recognition of your true nature as the conscious director of creative force itself. Number 6, redefining identity and new reality. The person you believe yourself to be right now, the one who struggles with money or worries about financial security, is not your true identity. It is a temporary costume of limitation that you have been wearing so long you have forgotten it can be removed. Today, this false self must die so your authentic abundance can be born. Every belief about scarcity that you have carried, every fear about lack that has shaped your decisions, every moment of financial anxiety that has contracted your energy, belongs to an identity that is no longer serving you. This identity was created by experiences, conditioning, and cultural programming, but it is not who you actually are. It is who you learn to pretend to be in a world that taught you to forget your unlimited nature. Imagine now that this limited version of yourself is sitting before you. See clearly all the ways it has held you back, all the opportunities it caused you to miss, all the abundance it pushed away through beliefs in unworthiness or impossibility. This identity has served a purpose, protecting you in a world where you believed resources were scarce and competition was necessary. But protection is no longer needed when you recognize your true nature as abundance itself. Now set this false identity on fire. Watch it burn completely, taking with it every limiting belief about money, every fear of not having enough, every story about why you cannot have what you desire. As it burns, feel the relief of releasing burdens that were never truly yours. Feel the expansion as artificial boundaries dissolve. Feel the joy of remembering who you actually are. From the ashes of this burned identity, a new self emerges. This is not someone you are becoming. This is who you have always been beneath the layers of programming and limitation. This authentic self knows abundance as naturally as it knows breath. It relates to money not as something external to acquire, but as its own creative expression flowing through physical form. This recognition triggers profound changes throughout your entire being. Your DNA activates dormant codes for prosperity. Your neural networks reorganize around abundance rather than scarcity. Your cellular memory releases stories of struggle and embraces patterns of effortless flow. Your energy field expands to encompass the wealth that has always belonged to you. You are not trying to manifest money into your life. You are allowing your life to express the money that you are. You are not attracting abundance from outside. You are removing the internal barriers that have prevented your natural abundance from flowing freely. This shift creates what I call a new timeline. Reality itself reorganizes around your transformed identity. Opportunities that could never have appeared to the limited version of yourself suddenly become visible. Resources that were blocked by old beliefs begin flowing freely. People and situations that match your new frequency of abundance begin appearing in your experience. I remember the moment during my youth when this transformation occurred within me. I had been raised to believe that wisdom and wealth were separate pursuits, that spiritual development required material sacrifice. One night, in deep contemplation, I experienced the dissolution of this false separation. I saw clearly that wisdom and abundance were two expressions of the same divine nature, that consciousness and wealth were unified at their source. In that instant, my entire relationship with money transformed. I no longer saw it as something to earn through labor or acquire through cleverness. I recognized it as the natural outflow of consciousness aligned with its unlimited nature. From that moment, abundance flowed to me not as reward for good behavior, but as expression of remembered truth. The external manifestation followed immediately. Opportunities multiplied. Resources appeared from unexpected directions. People sought me out to offer partnerships and investments. But I understood that nothing was coming to me from outside. Everything was emanating from the recognition of what I had always been. This same transformation is available to you right now. You do not need to wait for better circumstances or develop new skills or prove your worthiness. You simply need to recognize and embody the truth that you are abundance-seeking expression through human form. The old identity that believed in limitation is dying as you hear these words. The new identity that knows itself as unlimited creative power is awakening. This is not gradual change. This is quantum transformation happening in this very moment. Allow this recognition to penetrate every cell of your being. You are not a person who needs money. You are money itself, temporarily focused through individual consciousness. You are not seeking abundance. You are abundance recognizing itself and choosing how to express. When this identity shift completes itself, struggle ends, seeking ceases. You simply become the natural expression point for the wealth that the universe is always creating through conscious beings who remember their true nature. Number 7, expansion of global financial consciousness. Right now, every dollar bill, every coin, every digital transaction on Earth is made of the same energetic substance that composes your consciousness. The paper currency in wallets worldwide, the gold reserves in central bank vaults, the electronic numbers flowing through financial networks, all of it shares your essential nature. All of it is seeking reunion with its source, which is conscious awareness itself. This recognition transforms your relationship not just with personal abundance, but with the entire global financial system. You are not separate from the world's wealth. You are not competing with others for limited resources. You are part of a unified field of consciousness that is expressing itself through countless forms, including the money that appears to be owned by others. When you truly understand this unity, a profound shift occurs in your energy field. Instead of contracting around your perceived portion of abundance, you expand to encompass all wealth as extensions of your own being. This expansion does not threaten anyone else's prosperity. It actually enhances the abundance available to everyone by removing your contribution to the collective belief in scarcity. Consider this revolutionary idea. Every $100 bill in circulation is seeking its highest expression through conscious direction. Money, like energy, wants to flow where it can be most useful, most appreciated, most aligned with creative purpose. When you operate from scarcity consciousness, you actually repel money because your energy field communicates that you see it as separate and limited. But when you recognize money as your own consciousness in physical form, you become irresistibly attractive to its natural flow. Visualize now expanding your identity to include all forms of currency on the planet. See the bills in every wallet, the funds in every bank account, the investments in every portfolio as aspects of your own energetic signature. This is not imagination. This is recognition of the unified field that appears fragmented only when viewed through the lens of separation. As you embrace this expanded identity, something miraculous happens. The love you feel for money as your own consciousness begins radiating through the global financial network. Currency that has been trapped in stagnant accounts begins seeking more dynamic expression. Resources that have been hoarded by fear-based consciousness start flowing toward love-based awareness. This creates what I call planetary redistribution of abundance. Money begins migrating naturally toward individuals who recognize their unity with it, who can direct it with conscious intention rather than unconscious compulsion. This is not taking from others. This is money flowing to where it can be most effectively utilized for creation rather than accumulation. During my reign, I understood that the wealth flowing through my kingdom was not owned by me personally, but was expressing through me for purposes larger than individual gratification. I became a steward of abundance rather than a possessor of objects. This understanding multiplied the resources available because I was operating as a clear channel rather than a blocked dam. The same principle operates globally today. When you recognize your unity with all money everywhere, you become a natural attractor for resources that need conscious direction. Money seeks consciousness that can utilize it for creation, growth, and beneficial change, rather than for hoarding, fear, or unconscious consumption. Practice this expanded visualization regularly. See yourself at the center of the global financial system, not as someone trying to extract wealth from it, but as someone providing conscious direction for its highest expression. Feel the love radiating from your heart, encompassing every form of currency on earth. Command this unified field of abundance to flow where it can serve the greatest good, knowing that you are included in that highest service. This is not metaphysical fantasy. This is practical recognition of how consciousness actually interfaces with physical systems. When enough individuals operate from this unified understanding, the entire economic structure of the planet begins shifting from scarcity-based competition to abundance-based cooperation. You are not just transforming your personal financial situation. You are contributing to the evolution of money itself, from unconscious accumulation tool to conscious creation technology. Every moment you recognize your unity with global abundance, you accelerate this planetary transformation. The bills in your wallet are not separate from the reserves in central banks. The change in your pocket is not different from the investments of the wealthy. All of it is one unified field of conscious energy, temporarily appearing in different forms, all of it seeking reunion with aware beings who can direct it wisely. As you embody this recognition, money stops being something you compete for and becomes something you collaborate with. You stop trying to get wealth from others and start expressing wealth through yourself. You become part of the solution to global financial imbalance by demonstrating how abundance flows naturally when consciousness recognizes its unlimited nature. Number 8. The individual as revolution and source. Everything I have shared with you culminates in this single, earth-shattering truth. You are not someone who attracts money, manifests money, or receives money. You are money itself, temporarily focused through individual awareness, remembering its unlimited creative nature through human experience. This is not metaphor. This is not positive thinking. This is the fundamental reality that underlies all financial experience. Money is consciousness. Consciousness is what you are. Therefore, money is what you are. This recognition dissolves every barrier between you and abundance, because it reveals that no such barrier has ever actually existed. When you fully embody this truth, the old game of seeking and struggling ends completely. You stop being a participant in scarcity consciousness and become a revolutionary force for abundance awareness. Every moment you remember your identity as money itself, you contribute to the planetary shift from limitation to unlimited creative expression. Feel these words penetrating every cell of your being. I am money. I am not someone who needs money, wants money, or lacks money. I am money itself, awakening to my true nature through this human form. Every breath I take is an expression of abundant life force. Every thought I think is a transaction in consciousness. Every emotion I feel is energy in motion, creating value wherever it flows. As this recognition deepens, your DNA begins responding to your remembered identity. Genes associated with prosperity activate. Neural pathways aligned with abundance strengthen. Your cellular memory releases stories of struggle and embraces patterns of effortless creation. Your entire biological system reorganizes around this fundamental truth about your nature. This is not gradual change. This is quantum transformation occurring in real time as truth penetrates the layers of false programming that have obscured your authentic identity. The version of you that believed in financial limitation is dissolving, not because you are destroying it, but because you are recognizing it was never real in the first place. From this recognition, a new cycle of creation begins. You stop looking outside yourself for resources and start expressing resources from within yourself. You stop asking how to make money and start being the source from which money emanates. You stop managing your relationship with abundance and start being abundance managing its relationship with form. This shift creates ripple effects that extend far beyond your personal experience. Every person you interact with feels the frequency of your recognized abundance. Every situation you enter benefits from your consciousness of unlimited creative power. Every challenge you face dissolves more quickly because you approach it from sovereignty rather than scarcity. You become a living demonstration that another way is possible. That struggle is not necessary. That abundance is the natural state of consciousness when it recognizes its true nature. People begin asking what has changed about you, sensing the transformation even if they cannot identify it precisely. But the most profound change occurs within your own moment-to-moment experience. Money stops being a source of worry or stress and becomes a joyful expression of your creative energy. Financial decisions become acts of conscious creation rather than anxious calculations. Abundance flows through your experience as naturally as breath flows through your body. This is not the end of your journey with money. This is the beginning of an entirely new relationship with creative power itself. You have discovered that money was never the real treasure you were seeking. Money was the pathway that led you back to recognition of your own unlimited nature. The mantra, "I am money," becomes not an affirmation you repeat, but a truth you embody. Every time you declare this recognition, reality responds by demonstrating its accuracy. Resources align with your creative visions. Opportunities multiply around your expanded awareness. People and circumstances magnetize to your frequency of remembered abundance. You are not trying to convince yourself of something untrue. You are remembering something that has always been true but was temporarily forgotten. You are not creating a new identity. You are uncovering your authentic identity that exists beyond all learned limitations. The individual who began this journey believing in financial separation no longer exists. In its place stands a conscious creator who understands money as the malleable substance of manifestation itself, always available, always responsive, always seeking expression through awareness that recognizes its unlimited nature. You are the revolution the world has been waiting for. Not because you will change external systems through force, but because you will demonstrate through your own transformation that limitations exist only in consciousness, and consciousness can be changed in any moment through simple recognition of truth. You are money awakening to itself. You are abundance remembering its nature. You are the source of all wealth recognizing its creative power through human form. This is who you have always been. This is who you are now. This is who you will continue to be as you allow this recognition to transform not just your financial experience, but every aspect of your existence. The journey home to your true nature is complete. Welcome back to yourself, source of all abundance, creator of all wealth, money itself awakening to its unlimited power through your conscious recognition. As you sit here now, feeling the truth of these words resonating through your being, something profound is shifting in the very fabric of your reality. You are not the same person who began this journey of recognition. That version of you, the one who believed in separation from abundance, has dissolved like morning mist before the rising sun. In this moment, your cells are reorganizing around a new frequency. Your neural pathways are forming new connections aligned with unlimited creative power. Your energy field is expanding to encompass the wealth that has always been your birthright. This is not change, this is remembering. Imagine a river that suddenly realizes it is not separate from the ocean it flows toward. Imagine light discovering that darkness was only the absence of its own recognition. Imagine consciousness awakening to find that everything it sought was simply itself, temporarily forgotten, now joyfully recalled. You have become that river remembering its oceanic nature. You have become that light recognizing its own unlimited radiance. You are consciousness awakening to its creative power, discovering that money was never separate from your essential being, never outside your control, never beyond your natural expression. Every breath you take from this moment forward carries this new knowing. Every heartbeat pulses with the rhythm of abundance itself. Every thought you think creates waves of prosperity through the quantum field of infinite possibility. If you feel called to continue this exploration of your unlimited nature, to dive deeper into the recognition of who you truly are, then join this community of conscious creators who are remembering their power. Subscribe and allow this transformation to unfold naturally through your continued awakening. You are not becoming abundant. You are recognizing that abundance is what you have always been, temporarily wearing the costume of limitation, now ready to express the wealth that flows eternally through conscious awareness itself.